Hello everyone, welcome to the business statistics class. Today we'll discuss the time series, right? Under the time series, importance of time series and then components of time series. So first we will discuss about the meaning for time series. So time series examines a series of data over time. In studying the series, patterns become evident and these patterns are used to assist with the future decision making. The time series relies on the following. One is identification of the underlying trend line and measurement of past patterns and the assumption that these patterns will be repeated in the future and forecast of future trends of data. Then importance of time series analysis. As the basis of time series analysis, businessmen can predict about the changes in economy. There are following points which clear about the importance of the time series. One is profit of experience, safety from future, utility studies, sales forecasting, stock market analysis, then process and quality control, inventory studies, economic forecasting, risk analysis and evaluation of changes, then census analysis. Then time series examples are one is the sales data, gross national product, share prices, exchange rate, unemployment rates, population, foreign debt, interest rates, etc. And the components of time series are secular range, seasonal variation, cyclical variation, and irregular variation. So the components of time series data, one is predicting long-term trends without smoothing and what could go wrong. Then where do you commence your prediction from the bottom of a variation going up or the peak of a variation going down. So you can see with the diagram, so the irregular functions and then cyclical function, then trend and the seasonal. So here it will start, irregular functions are starting. So the differentiation values you can see here, it will not have the proper or regular fluctuations for the values decreasing or increasing. So the secular trend component will be the long-term growth or declining of the series. In economic terms, long-term may mean more than 10 years. So it describes the history of the time series, uses past trends to make prediction about the future, where the analyst can isolate the effect of a secular trend, changes due to other causes become clearer. So a secular trend identifies the underlying trend of the data increasing, decreasing, or remaining constant. So it is a long-term direction of the data, usually described by the line of best fit, and is deduced over a large number of periods. The following chart is long-term graph of ASX 200. Now the second component is seasonal variation. The seasonal variation of a time series is a pattern of change that recurs regularly over time. Seasonal variations are usually due to the differences between seasons and to festive occasions such as Easter and Christmas. Examples include air conditioner sales in summer, heater sales in winter, flu cases in winter, airline tickets for flights during school vacations. So these are all the seasonal variations. So seasonal movements are refers to regular periodic fluctuation that occur in each time period, yearly, monthly, or daily. So some examples are specialty cards for Valentine's Day, monthly travel pauses, and off-peak heating. So seasonal variations greatly impact on the outcomes of recorded data and often believe the underlying trend. Businesses need to identify the seasonal impact so that a measurement can be used to adjust the expected outcome in order to recognize the directions of the underlying trend. Third component is cyclical variations. So cyclical variations also have recurring patterns, but with a longer and more erratic time scale compared to seasonal variations. The name is quite misleading because these cycles can be far from regular and it's usually impossible to predict just how long periods of expansion or contraction will be. So there is no guarantee of a regularly returning pattern. The cyclical variations, the examples flood, war, change in interest rate, economic depressions, change in consumer spending. So the movement of cyclical variations is it reflects the level of business activity and economic movement over time by fluctuating patterns known as the economic cycle. These variations measures periods of expansion and contraction in industry and the economy. The regularity and intensity are not predictable. However, certain economic indicators contribute to their existence: level of investments, confidence in the economy, GDP, trade indexes, and government policy. So here you can see the chart represents an economic cycle, but we know it doesn't always go like this. The timing and the length of each phase is not predictable. Right. So here you can see through the expansion and peak level, then it's getting down for recession period, and then it goes for the actual growth stage. So fourth component is irregular variance. An irregular or random variation in a time series occurs over very usually short periods. It follows no pattern and is by nature unpredictable. It usually occurs randomly and may be linked to events that also occur randomly. Irregular variations cannot be explained mathematically, and irregular variations, the variation cannot be accounted for by secular trend, season, or cyclical variations. Then it is usually attributed to irregular variations. Few examples: sudden changes in interest rate, collapse of companies, natural disasters, sudden shift in government policy, dramatic changes to the stock market, effects of Middle East unrest on petrol prices. Thank you. We will see you with the next topic.